Saturday, December 26th, 2015. Derek Davis here with Rob Vino, sportsbettingtoday.us, and Rob Vino Sports. Rob, lots of bowl games today. Let's go here with the game 233, 234, Tulsa and Virginia Tech. The Independence Bowl from beautiful Shreveport, Louisiana. Virginia Tech minus 14, a total of 62 in this one. Weather might be a factor in this one, Rob, calling for rain. Pretty good amount of rain to fall during this one between 5 and 8 p.m. local time, which will be right during the game. Winds 13 to 16 miles per hour from the southeast in Shreveport. Virginia Tech gets Frank Beamer into a bowl game, is the final game of his final season, Rob. It took a win over interstate rival Virginia to do it. Virginia Tech 6-6 on the year straight up, as well as 6-6 on the year against the spread. Tulsa in this one, Rob, 6-6 on the year, 6-5-1 against the spread. Losers 2 of their last 3 straight up. Really not a marquee win for the University of Tulsa. New Mexico, possibly the best team they've beaten this year, Rob. The University of Texas and Charlie Strong have raided the University of Tulsa offensive staff, so there'll be a little bit of change there for the game. So, Rob, what does Tulsa need to do here to try to keep it within the 14?
Obviously, the lead story here in Derek this game is going to be Frank Beamer. His final game as head coach of Virginia Tech. You know the kids want to send him out with a victory. The question is, will the victory be larger than 14 points in order to cover this game for them? Power rating suggested on the neutral field, they're 16 points better. They're going to have a ton of emotion here for this game. Tulsa might be able to match that emotion to start off with. Obviously, it's the first year of head coach Phil Montgomery's tenure, and right away, Tulsa's in a bowl games. Part of that due to the fact that the bowl field is expanded, but give him credit, Phil Montgomery, if nothing else, brought that Baylor air raid excitement right to Tulsa. Learned it from Art Briles and came in, and they look just like a Baylor offense on a lesser scale somewhat because they're in Conference USA, but certainly they put up their share of points. You've got threats at the quarterback position in Dane Evans, a very strong arm quarterback, a guy with legs capable of gaining yards as well, and also a couple of receivers here in Karis Garrett and Josh Atkinson, who can play at the next level. So they've got their weapons. Now, the problem with the passing game here, I talked about it earlier in the Heart of Dallas Bowl, is the fact that you've got a wet grass field here in Shreveport. We've seen Shreveport over the years in bad weather sort of make the games look ugly. Virginia Tech would like nothing more than to have it look ugly. They are the power team in this case. If Tulsa's timing and continuity, rhythm in the passing game is off, they just don't run it well enough to supplement that pass game if it's not there. So this is going to be a big deal for Tulsa trying to get something going here if field conditions prevent them from having a big day throwing the football. If they can get that passing game unleashed, Virginia Tech could have trouble with the Tulsa philosophy. Again, we talked about the triple option in these previews and how hard it is to prepare, and we've talked about air raid offenses and how hard it is to prepare if you don't see them on a weekly basis. In the ACC, Virginia Tech, not necessarily a team that sees a lot of air raid style offenses, so you could figure that at least in the beginning of the game, Tulsa could have them messed up a little bit in this contest. If the weather early is okay, you might see a lot of scoring at the start of this game, and maybe the weather conditions wear on the field in the second half could be a way to look at it over perspective from the first half. But I think overall, and despite this, I wanted to get this out there because it's not often that you see a Virginia Tech team get beat for an entire season at the line of scrimmage. But on average this year, yards per carry allowed, Virginia Tech minus 0.9, almost minus the full yard per carry this season. Just don't see that with Virginia Tech. All that being said, they're far more physical than Tulsa, with Michael Brewer back at quarterback. They have the guy that leads their offense the best, of course. Michael Brewer transferred out of Texas Tech a couple years back. Been injured an awful lot over the course of his time at Virginia Tech, but he has played the back end of this season for the most part. And Virginia Tech seems to do better with him in there. A guy who can scramble out of some trouble. But they're going to look to hand it off. They're going to look to make yardage through the interior of that Tulsa defense. And I think Tulsa is going to be physically challenged in this game by Virginia Tech. If they can control the clock, run the football, let Brewer complete some short passes, I don't think there's a lot Tulsa can do to stop them. Uh, Virginia Tech's offense is not necessarily reliable enough to go ahead and lay 14 points, but with their defense, if they can shut the Tulsa offense, at least from a passing perspective, down a little bit with the help of the rain and the grass turf, you can get into these situations where 16's not that, or excuse me, 14's not that difficult to cover. You end up with a contest here of 34-17 Virginia Tech, which I think is very feasible. You wind up with a Virginia Tech cover. So there's certain ways to look at this one. The one way I wouldn't look at it, I probably would not look at it from the Tulsa standpoint. I don't think I would want to take points with Tulsa here because you just can't be sure, number one, that they're going to be able to pass effectively, timing and rhythm in this type of weather. And number two, I'm not sure that Virginia Tech can't figure some of their patterns out as the game wears on and start to shut them down. I think Tulsa might strike early. Don't know that they'll strike a lot late. I think if I had to, the one way I wouldn't play this game is Tulsa plus the points.